Hello, it's Alex here. How you doing? So what is the secret? It's a good question, huh? So in this video I'm going to try and explain how I think the secret works. Also explain what the secret is. For those of you that don't know what the secret is, well, why would you? It's a secret, I suppose. This video, I'm not going to bother editing it or anything like that. It's literally a brain dump on my thoughts and ideas on the secret. So, what is The Secret, you might be asking? Well, it's a book, and it's a film, and not like a proper film, a sort of documentary-ish sort of film, although a documentary, I guess, has to be around facts, and I think, most of the stuff in The Secret is kind of speculative, but they do kind of dress it up as a kind of physics experiment or a science law or whatever. In fact, it's also known as the law of attraction, which makes it sound kind of scientific. Although, I don't think there is much science behind it. So let me tell you what it is. I'm rambling. Basically, the idea that what you think about and what you focus on is what you'll get. That's how your life will be. However you think and however you feel and however much you focus. That's going to be what your life is. So sounds great, doesn't it? You want a really successful life, you want to have a yacht and a Lamborghini and loads of money, then all you got to do is just think about that for a little while, focus on it, maybe write it down, draw a picture of it. And then the universe, in its kind of infinite power and wisdom, will provide that for you. And that's it. It's great. Unfortunately, that's probably a bit of a simple explanation to it. And well, let me explain my experience with it, and because I will say that I am a believer in The Secret. I think it is a very powerful thing, and it can have a big effect on your life. And I was introduced to it quite some time ago when I had my agency, the advertising agency thing, and we were working out of London. And my business partner, he was very much into this kind of stuff. He was into NLP, the neuro-linguistic programming. And all these kind of self-help books and hypnosis and all that kind of stuff. And he said, you need to check out The Secret. And he lent me his book, or maybe he lent me his DVD, I can't remember. He lent me something, and I remember watching it. In fact, I don't think I've actually read the book. I do have the book somewhere. In fact, maybe I don't have the book somewhere. I had it a while ago because I've already done a video around The Secret. I watched the video, and it did get me thinking, and I was already kind of going along those lines that, a positive attitude is a good thing, and try not to let negativity in because that can have a negative effect, obviously. So I was kind of already on that kind of wavelength. And it does mention wavelengths, I think, quite a bit in the book. But I started then thinking about what I wanted in life, writing stuff down, and it kind of happened. In fact, I remember going, if I go back all the way, 10 years ago, maybe longer, 15 years ago, when I was living with my now wife, she used to say, oh, we're never going to live in a house with a nice garden. We were living in an apartment at the time. We're never going to have a dog. We're never going to have this. Very negative. And I would always say, no, we will. Let's just believe that we will, and it will happen. And I think at the time I had my Wi-Fi company, which wasn't going particularly well. And she just didn't believe it, but I believed it. And then, switch forward to now, we live in a house, we've got a nice garden, we've got a dog. So it did kind of come true. But how does it work? Let me get to the point of how does The Secret actually work? Well, I don't know for sure, but this is my theory on it. It works in two ways. The first way is it affects the way that you think about stuff in a good way. Because at the end of the day, life and what happens in your life is basically how you process stuff and how you interpret it and how you feel about things and think about things. What's actually happening around you, well, it's all kind of constructed in your mind, isn't it? What I'm seeing, feeling, smelling, all the rest of it, it's all in my mind. The kind of scientific level, there's just a load of atoms or possibly waves around me. And it's just my interpretation of those atoms and waves, what creates the world. So obviously you kind of have an effect on that. And The Secret affects how you think about things, how you perceive things. So in real world terms, in terms of how that makes your life better or worse, it just makes you open to opportunities. So if you're thinking about, making loads of money, being successful, your brain will tune into things that might help you achieve that. And, it could be really random stuff. And an example of this, it's not a particularly good example. It's not actually a real example. It's just a kind of made up example. But I play on Xbox sometimes, and I've got some friends who I play with. They're just people I've met on there. And they're obviously different people, often different to me. They're either younger, older. They're generally younger. I'm quite old really for Xbox. But yeah, and once we've played a little while together, they'll often say, "Oh, what do you do?" And I'll kind of talk to them. And yeah, you get two different kind of responses to what I do, being a YouTuber, sharing videos on how to make money and make websites and all that stuff on my other channel, not this channel. And you can see how the secret there could kind of come into play, because there's going to be people that are looking to do something with their life, looking to change their life, looking to make money, looking to be successful. And they will kind of be open to my suggestions on doing this, watching that, listening to this. And who knows, once they do that, that might actually change their life. They might watch a video, one of my videos possibly, or maybe not, maybe someone else's video. And that could change their life because they're open to it, they're receptive to it, and they go, wow, okay, I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to start a website. I'm going to start a blog. I'm going to do something. Whereas you've got the other people that maybe have a more negative mindset and the outlook, like I do what I do. I'm just stuck in a job. I'm always going to be stuck in a job. I'm useless, that kind of stuff. And then when these opportunities kind of come in front of them, these kind of pivotal moments in their life that could send them off in this direction or send them off in that direction, they're not open to them, so they miss them. So that's kind of one way how I think the secret works. It just affects how you're thinking about stuff and how you perceive stuff. And you kind of spot opportunities and things in your life that, once you take action on those things, they could change your life because you start doing something and you go off in a different direction. The second way, and this is the way that they talk about in the book and in the film quite a lot, is it's working at a quantum physics sort of level, and you construct your own reality in kind of like a matrix style, where all of this is not real and it's all just maybe constructed within our mind. In the Matrix it was part of a big alien mainframe sort of setup, but this way doesn't involve aliens, but it basically says that you're constructing your own reality, so what you're thinking about is what actually happens. And use one example in the book or in the film where someone is driving to a meeting or something and they need a parking space when they get there, so they just think about the parking space a lot. They just can vision when they arrive there will be a parking space, and there it is. When they get there, there's the parking space they put up, perfect. That side of things, I'm not sure about that side of thing, whether you can have an effect on the universe or the universe will change based on how you're thinking. I mean, that does seem a little bit far-fetched, but when you go and look at experiments, quantum physics experiments like Schrodinger's cat and all that kind of stuff, then possibly than an actual, an atom or whatever, a wave, we don't really know what's down there, do we, in the nano level, but it is changed by the observer, and that's an actual real quantum physics thing, I'm sure of it. And so therefore, if you're observing something and the way that atom or that wave is formed changes based on your observations and how you're thinking about stuff, then in theory, you could influence everything around you just by thought. Now, of course, I'm not a scientist, and I'm certainly not a quantum physicist. So, don't quote me on any of that stuff, but that's what I've led to believe. But the one thing you do need to know is that the way you think and the way you feel and the things that you focus on will have a big effect on your life. How it works, well, I've just given you a whole load of waffle on how I think it works, but, who knows? It just does work. So try and avoid negativity in your life, which I know is easier said than done. I'm guilty of being negative all the time, and maybe not being as positive and focusing and thinking about what I want, and getting stuck on things that I don't want and the negativity that goes on around you. Try and stop that. Try and be more positive. Try and think of good things and think about how you want your life to be, and maybe that life will become a reality before you know it. Anyway, that's the end of our science lesson today. Hope you enjoyed that. I was just inspired. I just put the camera on and say I'm not editing this, so I think I did fluff up a little bit, but hopefully it makes sense to you. I'd love to know what you think about all this stuff. leave me a comment below. I do read all the comments that I get, and I will try to reply to as many as I possibly can. And I just realised that moving around my hand like this is making the camera shake and making everything shake. So hopefully you don't feel like you got motion sickness after watching this. I apologise if you do. Anyway, until next time, bye for now.